Right, hey again. So, as you know, I did a video the other day, and I don't know what it is with these new settings, but I set it so that people couldn't comment, which is not what I wanted to do, so I've changed that now. So, as you know, I've been writing my book, and it's going quite slowly because I'm having to go over something I've already done, and that is referring to my care files. Now, I was using speech recognition on Word, and for some reason it wasn't correctly getting what I was saying, so I had to go back and correct a lot of stuff anyway. So I just thought I should share with you something else. So this is all stuff that was written about me from the age of about 11 to 14. Some of the stuff in that last children's home I was in didn't like me very much, to say the least. So this was March 1982, so I'm 12 years old. There appears to have been little obvious change in Jeremy. He continues to be a very complex boy with many sides to him that are hard to understand. On the positive side, school life seems to be going happy for him, and several new friendships have developed, though these seem to have taken a backseat recently. Jeremy retains his interest in current affairs, and he will read the papers regularly each morning before breakfast, watch the news and often as possible, and listen to the radio following all the latest news. He can relate an item down to the last detail. The more gory or disastrous, the better it seems. If a particular story takes his interest, he will seek discussion on the subject, putting forward his ideas. His solutions are always of an unhappy, negative nature, which he relates excitedly and with much enthusiasm. This was highlighted when an incident in Italy of a young boy who fell down the well shaft was in the news. Whilst all the other children expressed the hope that he could be rescued, Jeremy could only envisage fatal outcomes and would rush to hear the news in case he was dead. When the tragic news came, Jeremy seemed elated that all he had said had actually happened, and he showed no sadness whatsoever. The relationships with Debbie and Derek continue successfully, though on slightly different lines now. He is still very put out whenever they call for or visit at their time. That doesn't suit him. Unless he is willing to talk about his time with them, he will treat any questions defensively. Relationships here at Honeywood with his peers seem to have improved slightly. He doesn't rise to the bait quite so much as he used to, but still remains the subject of teasing and ridicule. Recently, he has adopted the role of bully towards 3 younger children and cannot be left alone with them for long without stirring up antagonism. Jeremy displays good feeling towards the staff, though mock fighting and bath times and cooking in the evening are the only regular situations that provide close, happy one-to-one communication. Jeremy goes from day to day in various moods. He doesn't seem to experience normal pleasures, and his moments of happiness are fleeting. It is very easy to tip the balance with a few misinterpreted words. On the whole, he presents himself as an intelligent, knowledgeable boy who displays strong feelings of bitterness, whose behaviour, thoughts and patterns are complex and frightening. Jeremy needs an enormous amount of ongoing professional help. Okay, so as those of you who have been watching my videos for a while, you know that I've been overcoming or in the process of overcoming significant mental health issues, self-esteem issues and complex post-traumatic stress injury. As I explained before my other video, I don't call it complex post-traumatic stress disorder anymore, because it's not a disorder, it's an injury. And there in that file is one of the many injuries I sustained as a child. Now I'm able to read that and look at that and look at what's written and show my younger self compassion and empathy and love and understanding, which is very much lacking there in the file, so there's no acknowledgement in that report of what I've faced in my life, the challenges and the trauma and the letdowns and the disappointments and the abuse and the neglect I've faced. If you note, they note in my file that I'm bullied. And yet, when I bully other children, which is perfect, I'm a bastard for doing that. Yet it's perfectly acceptable for the other kids to have bullied me. Now, included in this bullying were my possessions being destroyed, and at one time my goldfish being killed. So they killed my pet. Okay, and that was all acceptable in the eyes of the staff. Because it's all banter, and I shouldn't rise to the bait. So all this has helped me put in context why, in some respects, I am so hard on myself. So I went to that children's home after I've been in after I've been in an assessment centre at 10 years old, when my foster placement broke down because of my behaviour. And at the time I was in the foster placement, my mum and my dad separately were saying I was going to live with them one day. So you can see why I was a little bit confused, and my mum and my dad were very chaotic in their visiting patterns and would come and go into my life at their will, with little care or regard for me and my well-being. So, by that time, I was having psychotherapy as a fucking 12-year-old kid, and obviously I was being encouraged to let stuff out that I was suppressing, and they didn't like that. Anyway, so any people who are reading their care files, who've been in the care system, and are reading stuff like that is written about them, I would suggest that what you do is you show yourself love, empathy, kindness and compassion, and you also show that to your younger self as well. Show your younger self the love, the care, compassion, understanding they didn't receive at that point in their life, or at that point in your life. You show them that. That's what I've been trying to do. As I write my book, I'm on 341 pages and 170,000 words at the moment. I've still got quite a lot to do, and I'm having to now read through my reports earlier, and I found this one, which made me laugh. So this is in January 1978, so I'm 7 years old. And this is what I've written about a 7-year-old child. There's a great change for the better in Germany, where he previously presented as a solemn, stiff, elderly-looking dwarf-like person. He now is far closer to being a happy, fun-loving little boy. With previous and compulsive behaviour and unhappy depressions are no longer apparent. He is far more relaxed and now greatly enjoys fun and jokes and thoroughly enjoys his weekend visits away, where previously he was very apprehensive in these circumstances. It is sad to see him wearing this mask, as the old Jeremy now only appeared in his mum's company. So they allowed my mum contact with me throughout my life, and God rest her soul, she's not here now. She died when I was 21, but really the woman should not have been allowed anywhere near me once I'd been removed permanently and put into care, it didn't help me. Now, they're writing that about a 7-year-old child, yeah? Now, those weekends away, they were to like a social uncle I had at that time, and I was in the process of being fostered. So I was being offered stability and a loving family. So of course I was going to be a fun, loving little boy. But you see there's absolutely no concern shown for the fact that at 7 years old I was depressed. Now, it's not in that bit, but in the other bit of my file, it's commented. I'm at school. I think I'm 6 years old, about that age, 6 years old. And I remarked to one of the teachers, I want to go up to heaven and live with the angels. Because I'm so unhappy and sad about being in the children's home. This is all the stuff that, these are all, as I've said earlier in the video, these are all the little, big, medium-sized straws that were on my back. And again, reading stuff like that is incredibly horrible to read that stuff about you, but if again, as I said a bit earlier, if you're reading that stuff about yourself, realise that this is written about people that they were paid to look for problems and be really, didn't look at the overall picture, and certainly didn't acknowledge it there in the files all the stuff that had led to you at that point in your life, in terms of why you're behaving that way, i.e. trauma. And this is what really ACE is all about, the whole ACEs score thing. If you've heard that, adverse childhood experiences, it's a score out of 10. The higher the score, the more likely you are to have behavioural problems, the more likely you are to have poor mental health and poor physical health. I scored 9 out of 10. And I joke, if my mum had been a drug addict or an alcoholic, I would have got 10 out of 10. Anyway, so that's just like another update. Thank you.